Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. It's great to be with you today, wherever you are. I'm taping this super early in the morning because I'm flying um, to California on assignment. I am meeting with someone, um, doing and gathering some information for my next deep dive article. Those have become very popular among Raider fans, and this is a person that we're going to be speaking to, and for an upcoming deep dive article. And I think you are going to love it. It's going to come out the last week of January, first week of February, sometime right in there. Um, at this point, it appears to be that this is going to be an article that's going to um, this I don't, I hate the word investigation because it makes it sound like there's something evil, and that's not the case. But this digging and reporting, this next Raiders deep dive article, is probably going to be a 2 or 3 day piece. It's got such voluminous information. I think you're going to love it. I think it will be one of the most popular that we've ever done, and so super excited about it. Um, but I'm doing this really early in the morning because I obviously we do a podcast for you every single day, but I'm excited about um, this information. I've been digging on this article for over a month. Um, yeah, over a month. And I just think you're going to really love it. I think you're going to really like it. We're going to have um, several deep dive articles that we're working on over the off season as well. I think you're going to really super enjoy it. Now, real quick, um, we provide for you voluminous amounts of information that's 100% free. And I am very well aware that there are some terrific journalists that cover this team who charge for content. And so when I say to you, and I say it regularly, don't pay people for what we give you for free. And I mean that. But some people have said, oh, you're taking shots at whomever. No, I'm not taking shots at anybody. There's really good people that cover this team that offer you stuff that we don't. And you should pay for that. But what we give you is voluminous. And we've got another new thing, 100% free, that I want to make you aware of. And I'm really hoping that you go and sign up for it today. If you go to our website, si.com/NFL/Raiders, in the upper right hand corner, there's a button that says newsletter. If you click that 3 times a week, you'll just get a quick email. We're not selling your information, nothing like that. But we'll send you an email with our biggest stories so you never miss another deep dive article, some great inside information, all of it. So go and sign up for that today, if you would, si.com/NFL/Raiders. Please do that. It'll be well worth it. It's 100% free, and you'll never be out of the loop again on the biggest stories. And when we bring you a ton of them, and let me tell you, I know what's coming, and you're going to want to avail yourself to that. So please check that out if you would. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, um, we want to address a couple things with you that I think are really, really important. The first is I have been covering sports for decades. This is what I do. I'm a professional. This is my life. Um, it's not where I find meaning in my life, but it is my job, and I thoroughly enjoy it, and I love the company that I work for. Um, Tremendous people, great friends. Um, I love the way that our company vociferously covers sports and the teams that we cover. But in all my years of being around professional sports, I've been around professional baseball, professional hockey, professional football, basketball, football, hockey, baseball. Yeah, I've been around them all. In college, I have never been around a team as rallied behind their coach, interim or not, as this team is for Antonio Pierce. And it's fascinating to me. If I had to offer you my assessment of the situation, and I'm there, I'm in the building, I'm around the team, I'm in the locker room, go to all the games. If I had to offer you a synopsis of what um, I think Mark Davis wants to make a big splash. That's his nature. He wants stability. He wants that person who's going to take it by the reins. But I said to you a few weeks ago, I had a player say to me, if he doesn't pick Antonio Pearson, we stay on the road we're on, which was improvement, and they have improved, there could be a mutiny. Now, I'm not expecting people to go in and throw their fist on Mark Davis's desk and demand a trade. I'm not talking about that, but I think it would be um, not good. And I'm going to tell you, um, the more this team continues to speak out, I think they add to that a win. And it doesn't have to be like a Chargers win or whatever, but just a win where they go and take care of business. Um, I I'm beginning to feel like AP is going to get the job. That's not reporting. I think Jim Harbaugh's in it. I think he would like to get Jim Harbaugh or a John Gruden. But here's the situation. Uh, it's morning now, but last night I was talking with someone in the organization and I made a comment. It's going to be very difficult for him and an organization that talk about it's all about the players to, for the second time in 2 years, ignore that room. That's going to be very difficult to do. Now, do I think he would do it? Well, he did it with Rich Bisaccia. But this is much stronger even than with Rich. And let me tell you, the players loved Rich. This is different. Um, I want to address a couple things that from my perspective, that I think is important to disseminate to you. Um, if we don't bring it up to the players, they're bringing it up to us about AP. They want it talked about. Now, there are some people saying falsely, well, he's just a player's coach. He's a rah-rah coach. Now, you are entitled to any opinion that you want. But if you're not in that locker room or you're not um, around these guys, your opinion is ignorant because he gets on guys. He'll put a boot in the rear. That's not a rah-rah guy. And for those of you claiming players coach, go back and watch the video I did several weeks ago with Braylon Edwards, who's a friend of his, who's a friend of his. And his definition, who no one would disagree, was a great NFL player, great college player, um, of what a player's coach is. Player's coach is a coach that'll discipline you. A player's coach is a coach that will get on you. Look at how he got on Jack Jones when Jack started to get a little emotional. Look at what he did to Marcus Peters and booted him off his team. That's what a real player's coach is. Some people who are not familiar with sports or have not been in it think a player's coach is that's a coach that lets you do whatever you want. No, a player's coach is a guy that loves his players and he'll get on them hard. And AP has gotten on some of these guys brutally hard, brutally hard, and they still want him. I'll give you a great example. My father um, was in the military. He was a disciplinarian. And he whooped me more times than I can care to remember. And I deserved every one of them. None of this, oh, that's abuse. That wasn't abuse at all. He absolutely loved me. And and so he would sit me down and say, okay, here's why you're going to get spanking. And you probably don't care about this, but I'm just trying to put it in context. And he'd say, hey, here's a Bible verse. It talks about what you did is wrong, but you need to know I love you. And he would spank me. And then we moved on. Well, when I got married, he was my best man. Yesterday was his birthday, and he's since died and gone to heaven. But sorry, I just love him to pieces, miss him, and so even though he was a disciplinarian, he his children revere him and love him to this day. We not one of us gets together and it's not all these stories about him. My wife even comments, she says, it just amazes me. It's been all these years and you guys every conversation's about your dad anytime you're together because we loved him. He was a great godly man and a tremendous father. And so even though he was a disciplinarian, we revered him, we respected him, and we loved him. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to pretend AP's these people, these guys' father. They're grown men. But he disciplines them and he loves them. And so they not only like him, they respect him. And he gets on guys. In fact, I'm going to have an interview with a player. Um, I, I may not use the player's name, but talking about a couple times he's got on people, and I'm not going to say which player, but he's gotten on them brutally hard. You know, NFL stands for not for long about effort. He just won't tolerate anything else, and he will call you out, but yet they love him. Why? Because these guys want to stay in the league. They know if they win, they get more endorsements, more commercials. They know if they perform better, they make more money, they get bigger contracts. And they know he loves them enough to tell them that that's unacceptable. And you don't want to walk in and just find out you're cut. I heard it said one time and I thought it was brilliant. The person that said it was John Robinson. You may remember him, the former um, college coach and, well, great coach, not just college, but great coach. And he talked about when a player gets cut, never let them be blindsided. They should know because the moment you quit coaching them, they know you've quit on them. And that is one thing that AP is able to do is get on guys and he's hard on them. Now I've heard people say, well, go get Ben Johnson. He's a great coordinator. Well, you can't make the argument that there's a shift from coordinator to head coach. It's an automatic. I'll give you another one. And my father was a businessman. And he used to always say one of the biggest, and he was a very successful businessman. And he'd say one of the biggest mistakes people make is they take their best salesman out of being a salesman to make him a sales manager. Well, so what makes oftentimes great salesmen doesn't make good management. And sometimes good managers don't make good salespeople or whatever. You can apply that to your company, whatever you do for a living. It's understanding. Okay, some guys don't have to be great coordinators. They're leaders of men who then hire coordinators and they become CEOs. They lead, they motivate, and hire great coaches. So if you want Harbaugh, you want Gruden, you want Ben Johnson, you want AP, hey, that's great. I'm not going to attack anybody who disagrees. I think for Mark Davis, this is a legacy defining decision. And if he does not hire Antonio Pierce, I think he is gambling with his legacy. And it's his choice. It's his team's not mine. To me, I think it's a no brainer. if you read my article that I wrote yesterday, if you didn't go back and read it about Champ and Antonio don't deserve the job. They've earned it. And they've earned the Raiders jobs. But you look at Champ and his similarities to Ron Wolf, one of the greatest GMs to ever live. You look at AP and his similarities to Art Shell. Art was a position coach, he became an intern and then got hired. John Madden was a position coach. Linebackers, who it gets hired. AP's got all of those. People said about John Madden, well, he needs to be a coordinator, doesn't have this experience, but he was a leader of men who surrounded himself with great leaders. Same thing Art did. And so when you look at AP and subsequently Champ, you look at guys who are leaders. And I'm sorry. I've heard people say, well, Rich Bisaccia got him to the playoffs. Yeah, and Rich Bisaccia started 3-0. John Gruden started that season 3-0. How many more games would this Raider team have won with AP at the helm? I think it's fair to say 2 or maybe 3 had he had. That's if he had started earlier. Now, I did an interview yesterday in the locker room with Adam Butler and Tyree Wilson. We're going to put it up soon. Now, Adam Butler comes from the Patriots. He's friends with Ziegler and McDaniels, and he's close to them. He's still close to these guys. He loves them. But even he said, man, I would have really liked to see AP take over earlier. Now, what's that saying? Hey, these guys are my friends, but they probably should have made the firing before. Wowza. I mean, when he said it, I just about fell over and I was standing up in the locker room. Now, that's one of the reasons I love Adam Butler, just genuine and sincere. And he wasn't attacking Dave or attacking Josh. He was simply stating the reality. If you would have given AP time to assemble a staff, OTAs, mini camps, training camps, I think this team is in the playoffs and had a better record than Bisaccia. And they didn't start with the 3 wins. I mean, I think that's something that's viable. But I am not, whether you think I am or not, sitting here trying to convince you to agree with me. I'm just simply trying to take the information, assimilate it, and hand it to you. And whoever you want is fine. It's fine. It's not a slam. I had a person send me an email, a viewer said, hey, I really enjoy your work. I didn't want to put this in the comment section. I didn't want you to think I was disagreeing with you. I really would like John Gruden back. And I responded in the email, why would you be afraid of putting that out there? I'm not God. You can disagree with me. I don't take that as a personal assault. You can disagree with somebody and be disagreeable, or you can disagree and be a gentleman or a lady and be respectful. There's a lot of reasons to like Jim Harbaugh. He's a great coach. There are a lot of reasons to like John Gruden. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. I mean, come on now. Shoot this thing. I mean, let's not pretend like this is, if you like John, you hate Jim and you hate AP, or if you like AP, you hate. Now, come on. I think it's a no-brainer you hire AP, but there are a lot of people with differing opinions that make sense. But if you're Mark in the position he is in this locker room and what he did with Rich, I don't think he's got an option. And I quite frankly think Champ and AP are going to do really well. But we'll see. But I think it was important as we talk about this transition to talk about that locker room. AP's got him right there in his hand. Now, one of the things that he has done this week is talk to the guys about fantastic finishes, finishing strong, putting up good tape, whether it's him or somebody else evaluating them, putting things out there that somebody can identify you as a building block. I mean, Adam Butler is done with his contract. and he's going to get a lot of chances to go to a lot of places. And he told me flat out, I want to come back here and play for AP. I want to come back here. And I would not be shocked if he does come back. He's playing at that high of a level. But those are big deals. Those are big things. And I think my job is to take the information that I get and pass it on to you. And I think when you're not in that locker room, you know, you can have an opinion, but if you're not in there and you don't have information from in there, then it's an uneducated opinion. That's fine. That doesn't, listen, I've heard people with uneducated opinions that made a lot of sense. But to call him a rah-rah guy is foolishness. It's an insult, actually, because this is a man of substance. And one of the things that AP's done, and I have not talked about this, and this is another point I wanted to share with you, is he's letting his coaches coach. Now, I've already said if he gets the job, I want to word this properly, but I do not anticipate a full return of the staff. I think there's going to be some guys that are, I think one or two that need to go. I didn't think they should have been here when Josh was here, and I believe Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels had issues with some of the staff, disagreements, not a whole lot, one or two, but I think there'll be staff changes where he feels like, okay, I can upgrade, and he will, because it's all about winning. It's all about the team, the team, the team. And it isn't about this guy's my buddy. No, if I can upgrade from this guy, go do it. Now, another thing I want to address, I've had several people say to me, what about if they hire Jim Harbaugh or John Gruden and keep Patrick Graham and make AP the assistant head coach? Come on. Come on. I could see keeping AP, but why would they make AP an assistant head coach? And where would he coach? Is he assistant head coach who also does linebackers? Okay, maybe. But do you really think a new coach coming in is going to want to keep a coach who owns that locker room? And let me tell you something. He owns that locker room. He owns it. I mean, if you're going to go marry a lady who's been divorced or a guy who's been divorced, uh, are you okay if the ex says, hey, I'm just going to stay in the bedroom next door? Probably not. No, I'm just telling you, I could see Patrick staying. Maybe AP would. I just don't know if another coach is going to want that. I just don't see that. I don't think that's viable at all. Okay, I want to switch directions here a little bit, and I think it's important to talk about what am I looking for? Um, what am I looking for as this team progresses into this weekend? There are a couple things. The players have made this about AP. AP is not. They're going to do their best to try to make a statement. I know that Josh Jacobs has taken a lot of criticism. And I understand that. You may remember, I'm the one that said I didn't think the Raiders should have exercised his fifth-year option. And Josh knows that I've said that. Him and I have talked about it. It wasn't a personal attack. He didn't stay healthy. Last year, going into that final contract year, he stayed healthy. Okay, this year he didn't. So I want to tell you right now, I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's being a wimp. He doesn't want to get hurt. He's thinking about next year." I'm telling you, you are welcome to believe that if you want, but it's foolishness and it's not real. It's not real. I know when there have been players holding out and not playing who the team thought they could. I know how players react when that's the case with players. And I'm going to tell you flat up, Josh Jacobs is genuine. Um, if he thought that, he would just say, yeah, I just think I'm not 100% and probably going to check out. No, he wants to play. But at the same time, he does have to think about himself. And if playing risks injuring himself and affecting next year, that's a big deal. And I don't blame him. And by the way, AP doesn't want him playing if that's the case. So get mad at AP. But I expect, do I think Josh will play? Well, he hasn't played the last 2 weeks. So I would say skeptical, but not improbable yet. But I expect these guys to come out and they want to make a statement. Raider Nation, I know a lot of tickets were sold before the regime change, but man, I expect that place to be rocking on Sunday, rocking. And I expect there to be a ton of thumping as that Raiders team is going to be incredibly physical, incredibly physical. They are going to come out on the attack. Now, Jarrett Stidham is the quarterback now of the Broncos. And by the way, he was very liked, really good guy, very much liked in that locker room. So I've heard people say, oh, they're going to want to kill him. Oh, they're going to want to abuse him, but he's their friend. And it's like, I remember playing football with my brothers. I had a couple of older brothers, my brothers Scott and Greg, and they were um, um, 8 and 9 years older than me. So we played out, yard football, and they would just abuse their little brother. Well, then we start playing with other guys and be some of my age friends and some of their age friends. And I'll never forget one time one of their age friends plowed me over. My brother Scott's like, no. In the words of Damon Wayans, homie, don't play that. and I mean, made it clear, I can beat up on my brother, you can't. And they love Jarrett. So it's not a dislike in the least bit at all. But they're going to come out physical and wanting to make a statement. Now, offensively, they were offensive last week. And they've had a couple games where offensively they've been offensive. But I want you to think about a couple things. No OTAs, no mini camps, no training camp, no trades to try to change the offense. I mean, the Raiders couldn't run their offense when Josh McDaniels was here. So they had to take a ton of the playbook out. They lost two offensive coaches in Mick Lombardi and Josh McDaniels. So they were trying to run an offense down two offensive coaches, two. And with a rookie, sticking with a rookie. And I think Aiden O'Connell has done a lot of good things. But the point is they still have been an offensive offense a couple of times, and they're going to need to be better. Now, Denver's got a very good defense. Do I think it's elite? No. Do I think it's very good? I do. Very good. So I expect this to be a battle. I'm not ready to make a prediction right now, but I mean, I would be somewhere in the 21-17 range, Raiders, something like that. Again, that's not my final prediction. I'll make that on Sunday, but I expect them to come out and make a statement. Leave everything on the field. They don't have to be as conservative because they're out of playoff contentions. It's Katie bar the door. Let's just go play Raider smash mouth, beat them up, blood guts football. Oof. Don't you love this game? I'm going to take a side moment here. Isn't it don't you just love the game of football? Man, what a precious sport. And so that's what I expect to see. I expect them to come out and say, we're going to make a statement for our coach. We're going to stand for our coach and we're going to make it happen for our coach. And We'll get into much more on Monday. Um, we'll get into a lot more really next Tuesday about the process moving forward, what that process is going to look for. I'm going to probably talk a little bit about it on Sunday's podcast before the game, just what to be looking for, a time frame when I think Mark would make a decision, all of those things. We'll get into a lot more. But again, in that locker room, I've never seen anything like it. It is one, you never get a locker room 100% united. It just doesn't happen. I mean, take 65 people randomly in America, different races, different religions, different socioeconomic backgrounds, different education levels. Take those people, throw them in a room, and show me when you're going to have total unanimity. You're not. And there are times I disagree with myself. I'll get off the podcast and say, I don't agree with that. I should have. I think this now. Okay. It's hard to have unanimity with one. They're united. There's unanimity. And I think the Raiders players, no, I'm not going to say I think because that's not being truthful. I know the Raiders players want to come out and make a statement. This is their last chance to make a statement. Some of them, they're not under contract, so it's either for the Raiders or the next team. But that's not why they're wanting to make a statement. AP has been selfless. Champ Kelly has been selfless. These players are coming out selfless. They want to make a statement. They want to make a strong statement. AP's their coach. That's who they want leading them. Told you before, I think there are great coaches lining up who want to come coach for AP. Some great free agents that want to play for AP. The future of this franchise is silver and black, and it's a bright silver and black. Will Mark Davis, the second time in 2 years, go against that locker room? He certainly could. But man, I think Mark Davis is a lot of things, and I don't think he's stupid. Not at all. He's a brilliant businessman. I I just don't see it. Maybe. That's why I'm not saying it's a done deal. I'm not reporting it as a done deal in the least bit because it's not. But it should be, in my opinion. And it's going to be fascinating to watch. I hope you have a great day. We got tons of content coming. As you know, I'm going to be in Cali just for the day. I'll be back tonight. I'm just flying down for this deep dive article, a meeting with somebody, um, garnering and gathering information. But we're there. Zeke's going to be there in the locker room. We got all kinds of stories coming for you at si.com/NFL/Raiders. Remember, go there, hit the newsletter. Follow me on Instagram at Hondo SR. Follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, which is Hondo Carpenter. And then also, we do another podcast every day. It's 5 or 10 minutes. It's an exclusive only for the Fans First Sports Network, and you can find it on Spotify or Apple, and it's audio only. Check that out as well. We appreciate all of you guys. We are so grateful. The growth has been phenomenal. Please continue to like and share, comment, subscribe. That's why we keep things free. And because you guys are doing that. And we appreciate you. Humbly wish you nothing but the very best. So from all of us to you, I hope you're doing great. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great day. We'll see you soon, Raider Nation.